Question number 3, Gillian Mackay.
The First Minister whether the Scottish Government will provide an update on how it is responding to the Climate Change Committee's report on progress in reducing emissions in Scotland.
First Minister.
Scotland is taking action to secure a net zero and climate resilient future, and doing so in a way that is fair and just for everyone. Our focus remains very firmly on delivering the updated climate change plan, delivering on our adaptation outcomes through the 2019 adaptation programme, and planning for a just transition across the economy. We are also carefully considering the Climate Change Committee's latest advice and plan to respond in the spring.
Gillian Mackay.
In recent years, Scotland has shown real climate leadership on the global stage. I'm proud that the Scottish Government is currently consulting on a position that would see a presumption against exploration for yet more oil and gas in the North Sea, while taking real action to build more solar, wind and marine renewables. That action must add up to a plan that delivers on our climate commitments and delivers a just transition for our communities. Does the First Minister agree that Scotland's new climate plan will be one of the most important plans this Government will ever produce? And will she join me in calling on all parties to rise to the challenge, come together and take the climate emergency seriously?
First Minister.
Yes, I do agree. I think addressing the climate emergency for the sake of this generation, but also generations to come, is a massive obligation. It is, I think, a moral obligation for all of us, and I hope everybody across this chamber would have the same conviction in tackling climate change as I do and as the Government does. Gillian Mackay is right to point out the need for all countries to move away from fossil fuels, to accelerate the move away from fossil fuels. There's an added reason why we need to do that in Scotland, because of the maturity of the North Sea basin. So even if there wasn't a climate emergency, which there is, we would have the need to make that just transition. So investing in the transition, investing in the alternative sources of energy is really important. And of course we are blessed in Scotland that we have an abundance of those alternative sources of energy. That's why ScotWind is so important. It's why our hydrogen, green hydrogen ambitions are so important, because they allow us to make the transition for energy needs, but in a way that is just and fair and supports those who currently work in oil and gas into alternative employment. So that just transition is one of the most important obligations of Government, and why the updated climate change plan will be one of the most important documents published over the period ahead.